But it looks like SG Esports are taking their time here, whether or not they want to commit hard on the Ursa. The one thing that makes that tricky is the Lion. It's just a line. Once the blink is up, you blink Hex the Ursa. If he doesn't enrage off, he's down for a very long time. A lot of control can follow up as well with a Puck and Earth Spirit. So it can be a bit tricky to commit to the Ursa if you're not ready for that kind of defense. The supports aren't very defensive as well.
Ooh.
They go with the Axe instead, and we have seen Axe sort of pop in the Americas, right? Like a couple of times to pretty great effect, surprisingly enough. We'll see if SG Esports can replicate that success here. King Ao and the Axe should have a decent enough time. Scales well against the Jug, but the timings of the Axe are also like kind of wonky, right? Like you want to hit an early spike and then you kind of plateau, but then you become really strong once the enemy cores are farmed enough that your blade mail and call just kills them. So it's a weird timing for SG to have to meet, but I think they do have the lineup to enable the sacks here.
The nice thing about this game, though, for the Axe, is you don't really need to rush the Blade Mail this game either, right? Like, you can actually just rush the Blink Dagger straight off the bat and start to get a lot more active with your team prior to that 15-minute mark. Most games I find with the Axe, you need to get the Blade Mail first to be able to really just sustain yourself and be a bit of a threat if they do make a jump on you, but this game, he won't really need that Blade Mail rush, as it doesn't really do too much up against the Jug. You'd rather just get the Blink up and you can just roam as a team and start making those blink core plays, and eventually you get the blade mail and start to be effective in that way as well. But I do like that for the Axis game. It always feels kind of bad when you have to go for that early blade mail pickup over the blink. It just feels like you can't really do anything with your team up until you have that blink dagger up anyway. So SG, I expect them to be a lot more active this game, especially with this Axe. I'd say 15 minutes maximum before the blink is up and he's around roaming with his team. And for Latam defenders, once that blink is there, it's going to be quite hard to slow down the momentum of SG Esports this game number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be an important timing for SG to meet. And once they got off to that running start, I mean, Void Spirit pops off, Axe is there to follow up with a blink, as you mentioned. It can be hard for Latam to hold back. Like, they do want pickoffs themselves with Lion, Earth Spirit, Puck. But if you don't meet your blink timing in the line, and it's much harder for a line to hit those timings, as we almost saw from Moonlight with that rather rocky back and forth start. If he doesn't meet that same blink timing here, then it's harder to really get that counter initiation. So we'll see if they can get the space out that they need to build up here. They do ban out the Ursa this time, so SG Esports will not have that option, and no Gyrocopter as well. So we'll have to see what SG wants to take up. I think they've got an option for a Slark. We've seen Slark Jug kind of go back and forth as well.
You got Slark, you got heroes like Weaver. The Weaver into Earth Spirit Puck line might be a little bit challenging. There's plenty of opportunities here for SG Esports. Obviously, you want something that just right-clicks, as you don't really want to have to deal with this spin. And there you go, the CK comes out. That's a hero that loves to right-click in SG Esports. I do like that pickup. I don't really see much in the way of slowing down this CK. Now, mind you, John, of course, you can delete one of the illusions immediately with the mana drain from the Lion. So that's one positive up against the CK, but as soon as the Lion and CK meet, I imagine the Lion just gets blown up by one reality rift, and there's not much you can do to slow or stop him on this CK this game. I don't see anything in the way of dealing with him.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough if the CK does get his spells off. I think what Latam needs to do is to be the proactive ones. They've got good silences on the Puck and Earth Spirit. They've got the follow-up from the line. They need to be the ones catching out the CK and prevent SG Esports from finding that initiation. That's easier said than done, though, as Latam, they do have at least one more pick on the off lane here to maybe deal with that CK. Not sure what options they would want to go for. I guess you've got maybe the LC if you're worried about illusions. LC can kind of help you with that. The Dispel is pretty darn nice as well from Press the Attack. So that could be an option. If they're looking for team fight, the follow-up from the Puck, well, they don't have the option for a Tide. They've got option for CK, Centaur, or Sand King if they wanted to really build into team fight here. But I'm not sure if you really want to go all in on just having to play around those long cooldowns that can work against you with what SG has, because they're not relying on cooldowns. Maybe Will-O-Wisp once that's up, but even then, that's way down the line. They basically still just want to run and gun at you and hit their item timing, so that could be worrisome if you do play slower. They go with the Ember, so they flex off the Puck. Looks like we are going to be seeing Na on the Ember Spirit. So that's Ember rough. Versus Void is a bit better. Puck would have not had the best time. That is one way to deal with the CK illusions, right? Like a Sleight of Fist plus Maelstrom. However, it's greedy. It's super greedy. Jug, Ember, and Puck all need farm to be effective, and one of these heroes are just going to have to give that space away to another core.
Yeah, I think that last pick there from Latam Defenders was pretty much a we don't know what to pick up against the CK safe lane. I do believe they were looking for an off-lane pickup and they just couldn't figure out what would actually be good. And eventually just decided we'll throw the Puck in the off-lane instead. Now, I don't think Valky will have too bad of a time, but I don't really see him being able to slow down Costabile here. So, the CK doesn't really care too much about the Puck up until those levels are up. So just based off these drafts, I think if SG Esports, if they can get King L with a quick blink up on this Axe, I think it is going to be quite devastating for the side of Latam Defenders. Otherwise, though, if they can just buy enough time, maybe Cook and Hook, or Kuka Hook, excuse me, can get some farm up on the Jug. Maybe the Ember finds it as well. We'll see. I think this is going to be a very difficult game, though, for Latam Defenders this time around. I don't think it's going to be quite as easy as last time.
No, it's going to be a challenge. They do have some different prioritization here. Aretes is on the line as well, so it looks like he is going to be playing the pause 5 line, and Moonlight is going to take that pause 4. Red Spirit, of course, which is as you expect. We just have to see. It's going to be tricky for Latam to get off to that running start. Like, the Puck should hold its own, but I think you have to remember, this is like a Keeper of the Light plus CK lane, and CK's one issue in lane is that he's always out of mana. Not an issue when you have a Keeper of the Light. In fact, the spam ability of, say, Chaos Bolt or Reality Rift once you have some levels up on the Chakra is insane. So you have to watch that aggression.
As well as that, I mean, you talked about the mana issues that are kind of resolved now, but how do you actually kill Costabile? Like, you've got Orb, you've got Roll-In, you've got Kick, but all your right clicks aren't really going to be doing that much damage because he's got 5 base armor to get started. And if he's near the tier 1 tower, then you add the bonus armor on top of that. It's going to make it that much more difficult to kill him. Maybe once you hit level 6 on this Puck, you could try to go for a play with Dream Coil. But I think Costabile should have a very free time farming on this Chaos Knight.
Yeah, it's going to be a really easy time for him to build up, get his initial items up, and Latam just have to put a lot of investment to stop that from Costabile.
Valky, he's got an orb, but that's a lot of damage out, and he is going to survive as Moonlight does also get at least one bounty rune for the team. They found another up towards that top rune spot, and it is going to end up being a 2 for 2, but Moonlight is not really out of the woods yet. Like Thea Lacour will eventually leave him be. Moonlight is going to walk his way back into the lane slowly but surely. So I guess he could chase KJ for a bit, but he's going to go for the roll attempt. Not going to connect. We'll see how this laning stage goes, John. Valky already going to cop a stun in the Illuminate. Without phase shift up, you're just going to have to take all that damage.
Yeah, and this is tricky for Valky. Just so much early aggression. This Blightstone start as well from KJ, enabling some really nice right-click harass. And every time there's... My god. Yeah, Valky just can't dodge. And only has 2 tangos. There's a salve on Moonlight at the least, but once you eat through that, then Valky's not going to be able to sustain unless he drags some more regen. And a good start already for Costabile. As you mentioned, the CK is probably not going to be contested here at all. And all Moonlight can do is try to soak up into that level 2, level 3, and maybe look down mid. Of course, that does mean we can talk about mid as well. You've got the Ember Spirit versus the Void Spirit. This one is much more even start, although 4DR should have a steady enough start here, as he does have really good wave clear and some good right-click mitigation. Nana is going to be playing with his own Flame Guard, so going to be a steady farm trade early on. Level 6, level 7 is when that spike really kicks in for both sides here.
bot lane is where the first blood happens. Moonlight ends up going down, and I kind of wanted to go back to a point you made earlier, John. With that Blightstone on the Keeper of the Light, it's a very smart Blightstone pickup. I mean, the puck at level 1 only had 1 base armor, and even now only has 1 base armor if you remove the tower bonus armor. And so every time Costabile is able to land the stun, in conjunction with Reality Rift and that Blightstone, you are going to get blown up. It's just so much added damage onto this puck. And for Moonlight, he can't do anything in this lane. He's got level 1 roll, so at best he could roll away. But you don't want to initiate as this Earth Spirit because you're going to get blown up by Costabile anyway. So it's a very, very rough time here, this bot lane, and I just thought it was really cool with that Blightstone from KJ. It just makes it that much more difficult.
It really does. You've got level 2 up now as well on the side of SG, so Chakra is in play, the sustain's there to spam out the Illuminate, and just the damage coming through from Illuminate and Stun. Too much to handle early on. Valky does at least have Phase Shift, so you're going to have to catch him out from Fog of War to keep that harassment up, but overall it's still not going to slow down Costabile. So CK off to a fantastic start and just set to kind of keep that start going. Gives us some time to look up top while this pauses here. Of course, you've got Cookahoo along with Aretes on the line jug lane. This is pretty potent if you land your spells. The issue is you don't necessarily want to commit on an axe, right? Like, he's level 2 now, he's got the spin, and you've got the Rubik around as well, just spacing himself out well here, Teolikor. So even if you commit, once the spin ends, if you get lifted into a call maybe once level 3 is up, you're in for a world of hurt. So even with that potential aggression, you're not going to be finding that all too often from Latam defenders top.
Absolutely. King L actually going for a Vanguard pickup early on in this act, not opting for the Hood of Defiance. Which is quite interesting, because if you did go for a casual cloak here on the axe, you'd feel a lot more confident just running up and trying to get those spin procs onto Cookahoo. But without it, you're going to kind of take this kind of damage here. And Cookahoo, he could go for the spin, but it is only level 1. Meanwhile, bot lane, Moonlight does die once again to KJ. I was just keeping my camera there on the top lane in case we had another kill, but mid lane, Nana also getting very low. He's going to be fine for now, but well, KJ going down again, John. Did you happen to spot what happened down at the bot lane?
No, I actually didn't as well. I'm just assuming it was the same setup. Just the stun and to illuminate. It's just so much damage coming out from these two heroes down bot. They're finding everything right now on the side of SG, and I think it's maybe down to ping again. Like, that could just be the big factor for both sides in these two games across. Like, Latam definitely look like they have a game plan, but they just can't execute well.
These rolls aren't going to mean much. Like, that's a very confident roll to make. I don't know if I'd call this ping, John. It seems much more like a drafting issue or an outdraft issue here.
Oh, Kingao up top.
Be in danger. Axe is going to go down. Cookahoo trying to run, and he's going to be able to get away as Teolikor could not finish off the kill. This is kind of what I was talking about. The magic damage output is still going to be very nice from Latam defenders. Without having something like a casual cloak here for the Axe, he is going to be taking most of that damage.
Yeah, I think the Vanguard's really more of a farming build, so you might want to see some more farm, although 4DR could dodge. No haste. Would have loved that rune refill, but good deny out for Moonlight to contest. And that's going to help expand this lane for Na. It's been slower for him in terms of last hits, but just denying the rune away helps out a ton.
Costabile getting a solo kill now on the CK. So that was just a Reality Rift and stun, and the orb was already out, but Valky could not jaunt away in time. Now a roll in from Moonlight, but that's not going to lead to anything. Costabile is still free farming up, getting all the XP in the lane, as KJ has been just farming the jungle instead on the Coddle. This is really beautiful here for SG Esports, because they're just getting so much more XP than they should be able to. Even the D-Ward now from KJ. Nana is going to rotate in with the chains, and the roll in from Moonlight should mean the death of KJ, and it will. That's one bright side there for Latam defenders. They do at least get a Keeper of the Light for their trouble, as well as both those bottom bounty runes. That's really all they're getting right now.
Yeah, I mean, you take what you can get at this point. Not the hero that you really want to pick off, but at the same time, a kill, it's a kill. Nana gets to recover a bit as he is still lagging behind his Void Spirit. 40R now at level 6, just jumping around, trying to get some harassment off. Doesn't have enough mana to clean up, but that's going to force Nana all the way back to his tier 1 here.
I expect a kill to happen very soon. Bot lane is KJ. He's already set up for a nice Illuminate. Will show himself now. Illuminate, gonna fly out, maybe trying to force the phase shift, but Valky had the raindrops to block out a lot of the damage. Doesn't actually pop the phase shift just in case. Rift is there, Orb and jaunt away from Valky is gonna be good, but that bottom tier 1 tower now gonna suffer a lot of damage. They have the siege creeps, so that tier 1 tower is gone. I don't believe there's any chance of survival.
No, and such a slow start for Valky. Level 4 in the puck compared to 6 on Costabile. Not a good sign. You want your puck to hit level 6 with a Dream Coil fast, and there's just not going to be much presence from Valky at this point in the game. We're losing this tier 1. Just so much space out for SG.
The top lane should be where they move to next is Hook. Not going to go for Mr. King Ao. Now the chase, Lift is there. You do have the call, but it is only level 1. Still, the damage output is going to be quite nice here into Hook, but they can't get the dunk off in time. Meanwhile, the roll is there from Moonlight. Into the Impale, the Axe is still going to survive, and now 40 are going to move in onto Eridus. Can they get the line at least? They definitely can. They'll get the dunk into Moonlight now. The chase is on, and he doesn't have the roll up yet. Let's get it, but the Lacour is going to be there to block it off on the Rubik. And on the brighter side, Hook does survive on the Jug, but there's no way he gets this defense off.
No, he's all alone, still surrounded by 4 heroes. They're going to have to TP in to defend. Nana's here at the least.
The Lacour, he went way too far to go for that healing ward. Meanwhile, King Ao being caught out now by Nana. The 40R going to move his way back in onto the Ember, and King Ao is pretty darn tanky with that Vanguard. Is not going to die. Even Thea Lacour somehow survived from that tree line. Just not going down to the Jug damage.
Yeah, that's a big boon for SG. Nana, though?
As I say that, he's still alive!
What?
Okay, he gets the kill eventually, but it may have just cost him his life. This 40R going to be able to pick up the kill. How did that Sleight of Fist not connect?
I have no clue. Don't tell me. He might have done it on the edge and just missed. That is tilting. I can get why he'd jump in for that. You would be very disappointed if he didn't find that kill. Cost him his life. Good punishment out. SG now 5k up, 6-3. Now, not only are they winning up top lane, but Costabile is just left alone, bot to free farm. So you're dealing with a free farm CK. You're dealing with an Axe who already had a dunk off, has his Vanguard up, could be looking for that Blink Rush, as you mentioned. Maybe even just a casual Hood of Defiance. But yeah, it's like, it's pretty darn good for a CK when you get off to a free start like this. Like, it's still 8.5 minutes with Power Treads and a Bracer. That's still really free timing, and CK doesn't benefit from any other farming item, except maybe Maelstrom. But even then, you know, the Midas is much more preferable. So if they don't punish Costabile, this is going to pay off massively for him.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm just wondering what kind of item pickup he goes for next. Like, some players I see just rush the Aghanim Scepter. Some of them go for a Blink Dagger if they want to fight early on. I'm very curious to see what he does want to play with this game on the CK. So we should move our attention towards the top lane where KJ might get his TP cancelled, and Eridus does get the Hex in time. You heard the TP sound as well, but it means nothing as KJ is going to get spun on. Hook. He's going to be able to eventually get the kill. Very nice kill there for the Jug.
Yeah, it's an important one to find, punishing that solo support. This is a lot of space out for King Auto. Saving up for his Blink next, just about 800 gold away. And that's going to be the big timing for the Axe. Once he gets that Blink initiation, it becomes so much harder to fight into the team fight that SG does have on hand. They're being really active with 40R as well. TP's up top to just clear out the wave. And this is, again, giving Nana some space out, but it doesn't feel like it's enough spaces. Nana's now lagging behind the Void Spirit in a big way. 4.6k net worth versus 3.6, a full 1k gap. It's just not looking too good here for a Latam defender so far in the early points of game number 2.
No, it is not. Top lane, the T1 tower is going to be taken out by 40 Young and his friends. SG Esports, not really much to be worried about here for them. It's great timing as well, because as this T1 tower is going to drop, you are going to find that this Axe does have enough gold for that blink. As I say that, Eridus and Cookahawk do move up along with Valky. They are going to try and defend and slow this push down. But SG Esports now, with the Blink Dagger coming out, could try and re-go for it. They'd probably be able to find quite a few pickoffs here with that Blink. You're going to smoke for it, perhaps? Moonlight? He's around the area. King L has not shown the Blink yet.
Oh, KJ?
KJ going on to Nana. Nana has an Invis room, but it's not going to matter as he's underneath the Sentry Ward and he's going to get taken down by Costabile. Now towards the top lane, King L is getting there with the Lacour. They'd love to catch out Cookahawk with this Blink. But it looks like the Jug is well aware and is going to go for the TP out. There's a recall now onto the Axe, back into the mid lane where they might try to Valky. They get the call just in the nick of time into the Rift, but where's the stun? It's not there yet, but Valky is still dropping low and does die. Dream Coil may be able to help them turn this back around, or maybe not, as Moonlight is still dropping and does end up going down. Now Nana are going to move in along with Cookahawk. They're going to try for the CK, but Costabile are going to turn back around now. Gets Eridus as well. The line drops, Nana trying to run, but the stun is going to follow him up. And, well, they get the call off with the Axe into the dunk. It's all just perfectly played. And SG Esports back into that mid-tier 1 tower. Latam defenders, they just can't fight yet. They have no damage, they really have no control. And, well,
oh no.
Yeah, he found Cookahawk. They aren't going to be able to lock him down long enough, but it's not going to matter. You just keep forcing him away from his preferred farming positions. It's going to be just as impactful anyway.
Oh, they're looking now. They've got the cliff control. King Ao really wants to use this blink to its max effect. A bit tricky, but they might find more if you're not careful here on the side of Latam.
The orb was just committed. Going to be off cooldown very quick, but look at this. They're being very patient here. Valky not going to want to run up, but King Ao, he missed the call. He ended up getting the Earth Spirit instead. Still, Valky's going to be in a pretty big amount of danger as he gets silenced up, and it looks like he is going to die. So they still get the kill they wanted, regardless of whether the call landed or not.
Yeah, and that's big. And the one thing as well with this lineup, KJ is just constantly recalling across the map so they can keep this gank train going globally. They just rotate up top, this time with 40R, not finding anything yet, but they've got the opportunity now to maybe look for a jungle pickoff if they find the angle.
Eridus, Impel, does have the finger. Nana, not going to want to go for it. Now the lift up from Fear Lacour, they're just going to turn back around. It's taken out, and in fact, they found Nana. King Al, the one to jump in with the call there on the Ember, does secure another kill for SG Esports, and with this die, jungle is now theirs.
Yeah, I mean, they've dropped the wards in as well on their way in, so they've got the vision on the top jungle, they've got vision on the triangle, they've got all the control on SG Esports side. Latam does have wards in the triangle themselves on the Radiant side, but they just can't play in that area. They're having to pull back now. It's such a slow start for Latam. Cookahawk at 5.3k, still saving up for his Maelstrom, although I believe that should be flying in. So he does finish the Maelstrom. That does give them magic damage to bounce around through the illusions, and they do smoke up here on the side of Latam.
They've got to find something with this smoke. King Ao might be in position to break a smoke or get a counter initiation. Cookahawk can have his smoke broken. They're going to go for the Dream Call out onto the Coddle. Call is there, but it's only connected on one. They get the stun is out onto Cookahawk. The Jug falling very, very low, and it looks like Costabile is committed to the chase, but on the left side of things, they do kill off the Lacour, but Cookahawk does die on the Jug. Now Eridus also being caught by the call of King Ao, and it looks like they will find a secondary target. And I don't know if they can actually turn this one back around the die. It's looking like a very bad team fight, as the Latam defenders did not back off in time. They tried to go back after Costabile. that does not end up working out in their favor.
No, you just can't jump this CK anymore. He's got S and Y up, so much more durable up front. Status resistance makes it hard to keep him pinned down as well. And he's rushing the heart. Once Costabile has that, he has no worries at all coming out from Latam defenders. They do not have the damage to deal with him. Heck, they don't even have the damage to deal with King Ao right now. So they're going to have to take a step back, try to find farm, or just keep cleaning up those two supports. They've been finding KJ and Teolacor. Those are the best targets they can hope to catch out here.
40R moving towards the top lane, does get the silence off onto Valky. This is just such a tough puck game. He's only got the Veil of Discord up. Just no mobility on this puck. Back into the mid lane now. They want to try and make a play onto Nana. Nana not seeing King Ao yet. Lift up is there. Can they get the blink call in time? There's your chains out, and now the call will be there. They've got plenty of damage. Eridus, well, this is somewhere he doesn't want to be right now. He's going to hex him up. 40R does not have any astral step charges, so he's going to be forced to back.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But you're still fine. You control the die triangle. Which essentially means you control this game. And this Dire side is still just struggling to find any space.
Yeah, they just don't have any. And it's just the constant movement out that KJ forces. And they drag 40R again, and Aretes.
He's gone. Call is there as well. They caught out the Ember. It looks like they want Eridus down first and they get him. Now the chain's also coming out from this Rubik and they have so much control. They will dunk on Nana. Valky is going to survive the dunk attempt, but not the reality rift out from Costabile. And now Eridus, who just fought back on the Lion, has no chance of surviving this. Costabile with another kill. It's a massacre right now.
It's how the tables turn. You know, 23-7, 17k lead for SG. They are just unstoppable. Look at this farm in Costabile. 12.5k net worth. 2 times more than Cook-a-Hook at this point. That is... I don't know how you bounce back if you're Latam. They don't have the best high ground. They really have good pick-off, but we have not seen any of that come out. We've only seen 1 finger kill as well. And they really need to play with that burst potential. Even if it's just the supports at this point, you will have to take what you can get. They just need to get their target prioritization down, but the map control is just too much from SG right now.
That it is. They're going to hold this Dire triangle. Call, not going to connect on Cook-a-Hook. Costabile just so confident to move into that mid-tier 2 tower. Valky needs a great Dream Coil, but I don't know how you're going to find one. Lift is there onto the Ember. Banana is going to be able to move away. Now the roll-in is going to be punished onto the Earth Spirit. The call is out from King Ao. He caught 2 massive targets. He's got the puck and the Ember, but the Dream Coil is going to be committed. Do they have the damage output, though? King Ao does die thanks to the finger damage. Costabile is going to keep trying to fight this one out. I'm not sure if this is a good idea for SG Esports, but 40R is going to move back in. They get the Ember. Valky is just about to drop. And Cook-a-Hook is the only one left along with Aridus. And it looks like they're just going to ignore the Lion with the spin out from Teolacor. Aridus, the last one left, is eventually going to die. A great team fight once again from SG Esports. You're getting to that point now, if you're the Latam defenders, where you start to think about calling that GG.
I don't know. You can't really fight. Well, there's the heart up in Costabile, so this CK is going to be that much tankier up front. They do still have pick-off potential, but they need a lot of pick-offs to bounce back. They lose that mid-tier 2 tower. They still got top and bot at least. They've got some opportunities to still fight outside or high ground. They need to be as active as possible. Issue is, when your line's still level 8, it can't be that.
They found the CK, but they've got to get through 4k worth of HP, and now he pops the ulti. That'll be one card. Moonlight gets bursted. Now Nana trying to fight, but 40R going to join in, and that'll be another in the Ember. Or maybe not. He's still alive, but not for long. He gets taken out, and now King Ao even finding a third Eridus to die, and there's your GG call coming. SG Esports, quite a dominant Game 2 victory here, 20 minutes in. So that'll be another draw for our second series of the day, John. A 1-1 again.
Yeah, it's a good showing from SG Esports. They do manage to really pop off up against Latam defenders 31-9. Just domination. Costabila 10-0, 40R 10-0. Just an outstanding start. Latam defenders, they knew they were playing on ping. They still went for the puck. They still went for the Earth Spirit and the Lion and even the Ember. Really difficult to execute with that delay that they were facing, along with the fact that, as you mentioned, the draft, the last pick CK tied it in all too well for SG Esports, and Latin defenders were just confused how to respond.
With that, John, of course, we are going to move on to our next series of the day, and it is going to be between Black and Yellow versus No Ping Esports. I believe BNY will also have a stand-in here for their matchup, but I'll have to confirm that fact. And of course, this time around, we should also be starting in roughly 10 minutes, as I don't see any updates for Dota this time around. So with that, it is MLP Dota and johnxfire. We'll see you all again in roughly 10 minutes for our third series of the day.